Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new episode of the conversation about body liberation. This is one of the results of the project on microlearning for body liberation, co-financed by European Union. My name is Aga. I'm blonde, fat woman, middle age, with a green shirt and black glasses. And I have with me today Kamila, who is going to talk a bit about the youth work perspective. Hello, Kamila.
Hi, Aga.
Can you present yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Kamila Lęczewska. I work in the Center of Intercultural Initiatives Horizons in Poland, Poznań. Mostly my organization and my experiences come from youth work, but they go through the community development work, and that my background of all the activities, because I manage European and local projects related to anti-discrimination topics.
Okay, so let's go to the point. My first and most important question.
I've got ginger hair, that violet blouse, jeans blue. I don't have glasses, but I've got a bit face like a ghost. Maybe I should have glasses.
No, you don't have face like ghost, but it's a very enjoyable face to look at. So, for those who can, I as well would like to welcome you to see it on YouTube in the video podcast. But yeah, let's go to the point. You said you are doing the youth work. My question is, why we should include body liberation into the youth work?
I think we should include liberation of everything, and especially body to youth work, because all young people have bodies. That first of all. And
yes, I must agree.
Or at least all I know. So all the people have bodies, all young people have bodies. Body always will be with us. It will be, I don't know, our home. It will be us. We identify through our bodies, by our bodies. They are us, no? So it's like we cannot talk with other person, not notice somehow that there is also a body, and body is different, size, shape, the look, and especially for young people when they identify themselves in really young age, it's important also how they look. It's important how they look for other important people in their life, and sometimes look is for most of the people, and that's the biological thing. It's something that brings us together, something that we firstly notice. So especially in today's world, which is visual, it's something that we should talk and not pretend that the issue doesn't exist. Also, I would like to say something about Polish context, because for years it was the public discussion about sexual education, if it should be in public schools, in public education, in formal education. Yes, it should, because body is like also changing with us. It's a process that we should look on to understand us. So for the people that they just are in the beginning of the way of understanding who are they, who are other people, and what is important in their life, we cannot not talk about body and not to liberate this concept.
And do you think that young people actually have challenges related with their bodies? I know it's a general question, but I would like to start with this.
Yeah. Well, I can start with myself. Like when I was a young girl, I thought that my knees are too big.
Knees?
Yes, my knees. I saw myself because I was singing when I was little, and going to the scene and singing something during a kind of shows for parents. And I was couldn't not stare on my knees, that it was something wrong. They were too big, not proportional. I don't know. I had also problems with my teeth, and also, some boys, they were calling me bunny because of it. So, it's like, it's
Wow.
something Yeah, but it's something like, it was first of your nicknames. Actually, they are like, about your colleagues, whatever. In Polish school, there is always some gruby, which is fat. There is always some rudy, which is gingerhead. It's something like people call themselves because of some part of the body, which is maybe a bit different, maybe more visible. And now depends how you treat this part of your body. It can be your power or it can be your huge, huge, huge problem. So yes, I will say.
When you are telling it, I'm just remembering that I had always this fear not to be called pig at school. So coming back to the question about the young people right now, they all have bodies.
Yes, I would like to go back a bit more, like to kids, because okay, I will go to young people, of course, but children, before they start to talk and use language in the way that you can understand, you can communicate, it's, difficult for them to find words, no? And it's easier for them to say, I don't know, for a blonde person, yellow hair, something like that, no? When they are looking for crayons, whatever, they will say the exact word, what they think it's a color. And it's the same with body size and shape. They will say the fat, the thin. And, later they have to understand why they categorize and how it can go. So it's like process, no? And we cannot say that, and especially young kids, and later in school, that they are in a group of people in the same age. So they try to find differences. And that's biological. And there is a beauty standard, which is in each culture a bit different, but with globalization going more or less the same. And then when the real issues starting, it's like the thing about categorization, who is better, who is worse, according to the size and shape of the body, of course.
And this categorization, we can call it that it's something that we have to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what you are saying, the young people are using the adjective in the very descriptive way. And with the age, let's see, moving slowly towards teenagers years, they are learning what is the hidden meaning behind different words.
Yeah.
So I guess we would like to work on unlearning it? Or not really?
I think it's the most important thing about youth work, that in non-formal education, but also in formal education, it's a lack of representation. In some moment, we have to make description. No, okay, you are fat, you are thin, whatever. Doesn't matter, neutral. But then we learn from doctor, mom, maybe grandmother, maybe your colleague somewhere that, okay, fat is not good, no? And then some other people use it in pejorative way, some other important people for you, like peers at school, right? And this is the moment when we also observe something like lack of representation. During the pandemic years, when it was remote education mostly, so teachers were complaining that some of the members of the class, like classmates, they are totally inactive. You don't know if they are there, even though, like they put on, but you cannot see on camera, whatever. And like slowly they were disappearing, not participating in classes that are, And the thing was like how to activate them. So when they come back to schools and they will present again, they started to show like kind of mental issues, like people are more depressed, less talkable. Like, also this pandemic time showed them that they can hide a bit, don't be so much in the group if they don't feel. And on one hand, it's of course okay, because maybe you don't want to be so much in the light and be, with other people. But it was like a door open to be less, no? So if I don't feel okay with this group, maybe I will participate less, no? Maybe I will disappear.
Yeah, and withdrawing and withdrawing and withdrawing, and that's leading probably to a lot of challenges.
Exactly. So what's important in youth work is to normalize different types of body. No, like it's okay, different types of appearance, of look, because, depending from the group that you are, if you are also depend on your gender, there are different beauty standards. But more or less in a group of young people, they are, like going with some celebrities that they show you should be fit, you, should have long hair, whatever, for girls. And you should have like this classic beauty, small nose, etc. Whatever is selling well. And unfortunately, it's sarcastic laughing. But what I want to say, yeah. And then if you don't fit, so you prefer to not be so visible, no? And you are not visible for the group, you don't participate in the class, you are less and less, you are looking for more pictures that you can scroll in internet on different channels, and you feel less and less because you see in the end like the beauty standard, it's not you. Yeah, so in youth work, I think it's important with this conclusion, like to show different types of body, different attitudes.
Basically what you are saying, just let me paraphrase you. If I would go to school and do the workshop with young people about, I don't know, the comic or astrology, but I would come in my fat body feeling good about myself and not hiding, it would be already the act of the youth work that we are looking for in terms of representation?
Yes. That's the first step. Like just exactly that. That when, for example, in my organization, we've got foreigners with different cultural background, religion, that it's not so obvious in homogenic culture and of Poland. And they go to the classes, they collaborate in a transcultural environment. So young people see that, yes, you don't have to be afraid of people from other culture. It's okay. And it's possible, no, to be happy even though you don't know well language. So the same about, I will say us, like fat activists. If we go somewhere and we've got workshop about different stuff, like I've got my friend who is trans woman, and she's doing she does workshops of first aid at school, and she goes there just being trans. Obviously people start to talk about is it a gender? What is it? They start to talk with her afterwards, and that's the representation, and that helps for them to understand it's okay if you feel the same way or similar way.
Okay, we have a few questions from the public that I'm going to play very soon, but still one question to you. I know that you are doing some projects regarding the self-esteem of young people. If you can tell us a bit more about this part of your work. Self-esteem,
how it's we are in the process of this project, so it's going on. But how it started, actually, like in Poznań, it was huge issues of suicide and drug issues among young teenagers, like 12, 13 years old, that were in terrible conditions, and parents of those people didn't know what to do. So different representatives of NGOs, public education, and some social organizations, City Hall, were doing meetings when they shared their stories, and that follow us going deeper and to look for different research. We've got Young Heads research that talk about mental health of young people in whole Poland, and the self-esteem, like lack or like really low self-esteem of young people is one of the important, that's the spark, that's the first step to low down your mental health possibilities, and to go deeper, to discriminate others, to discriminate yourself. And the self-esteem is something that we don't talk, at least in Polish education, and it's something that, for example, I was never learning for myself. So now we try to make a lot of activities, look for specialists that they work on this topic with young people. We bring them, we will make conference, we are doing other projects also to see how other European organizations tackle this topic, to share best practices. So I will let you know about our results.
Okay. I'm looking forward. Okay, we have some questions from the audience. I will start with the shorter one. Let's see, what is it?
Kamila, I know that Polish public education system is tough for NGOs and anti-discriminatory work. What would be your advice to people who would like to enter public schools and help doing things for the kids, for the youth? What would you advise them? Where should they start?
Yeah, where should they start?
Yeah. Well, they should start to talk with people, because it's not easy to enter public schools. You need to pass through different kind of, how you call it? You cannot have criminal record. You have to have all the papers from governmental institutions that you can do that. And usually we youth workers, so we work with some organizations. We've got all the pozwolenia. How is it?
Permissions.
Permissions, and then you go to talk with director, of course. But for the people that they are starting, I would recommend, first of all, to find teachers that they are already active in the field. There is a lot of teachers on TikTok, and for example, they've got voluntary clubs at schools, or they are active in different fields of education, and they've got a lot of followers, like young students. So it's the best option to find the resource, which are those people and contacts. And if you would like to start in your own town, then go to talk with people that you know, because it's always easier also for teachers, for directors, to talk with someone that they know already and that they can trust. And that's the thing to enter the schools, okay? Because it's also not for everyone, and that's also understandable, because it's for protection of kids. So not anyone can have access to them. And the other thing is that today kids are part of schools, of course. They educate themselves through social media, like I mentioned TikTok, but I mean, there are different social media that they are related with young people, that they spend each day more and more time there. So it's also good channel to find some young people that they can connect you and to show you where to start to talk about topics and how.
Okay, thank you very much. So if we are talking about the outreach, we have going to school, we have social media. Something else? Some kind of community work maybe are you doing?
Yes, but the question was about how to go to schools. I understand the question because it's like not so obvious, and community work, of course. But then I will suggest to find a local NGO that already work with community. So there is usually few NGOs that are related with topic of education or culture or maybe immigrant issues that they can help youth workers, or if you'd like to start the youth work, to connect you. It's like community-based approach. Take the local initiatives in one umbrella and help people to collaborate together on some topics. So when there are those local initiative centers or some centers for young people or the youth councils. So then you've got already people working in the topic, and it's easier to start with community.
Okay, thank you, Kamila, for the conversation about the body liberation. We are about to close, saying once more thank you as well to your organization and to the European Union and Microlearning for Body Liberation for co-financing this podcast. And I would like to ask you just to close this podcast with one message that you would like to give from you to everybody who is listening to us.
Well, educate yourself in the topics of body liberation and fat liberation. It's nothing better what you can do and what you can give to yourself and your fat or other friends around you. It's great movement that I hope will develop, and I hope we'll do everything possible to develop this movement. And educate and support other people that they are in need, because sometimes just eyes opened and asking people questions around you help more than whatever education youth workers can do.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye.
Bye.
This podcast is co-funded by European Union, belonging to Microlearning from Body Liberation project. Recorded and edited by Joy Vázquez, Creative Commons.